Discoveries are often made, not by following instructions, but by going off the main road, by trying the untried. Frank Teeger said that. Sometimes this is not just a way to do it, it's the way to do it. What I'm going to share with you today is a little bit about some research that was done on radical innovation. And I'm going to share with you a couple of stories that will illustrate some companies that took radical innovation. You might think that, well, the word radical, even that word scares some people. Oh no, we can't do it radically. You might think that that will increase the barriers and make it harder to deal with things. One study found that taking a radical approach kind of opens things up. It removes the barriers. It makes it easier to innovate and move forward and create new things. Another study was done that included 4 different types of teams and 555 new product development projects. So a lot of input went into this study. And what it was about was to show that the best kind of team for radical innovation, or the best approach to it, was to use a autonomous team. You may go, well, what? Julia, what in the world are you talking about? What's an autonomous team? That's a team that's not impeded by the organization, not blocked, so that they can't, at every turn they have to fill out some form or do some kind of procedure or something. No, they're free to do what they need to do. They have the resources and support of the organization, and they can move forward. It also means that they're able to communicate with each other freely as they need to. They have informal access to each other. They're usually geographically located in the same place, because that way, if they encounter an obstacle, they can get over it and resolve it right away and continue to move forward. I'm going to tell you about 2 examples today. I wrote in my notes, interesting examples. Well, I hope they're interesting. But they're about radical innovation. What I really liked about these examples was that they happened when the economy went bad, when there was a downturn. Sometimes the best approach is to take radical innovation when there's a problem. That seems crazy, but that's what these 2 companies did, and it worked for them. The first company is the Imperial Land Corporation in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This company had 5,500 acres of land. This was land that they had been mining, but now it was being reclaimed for redevelopment. What they had intended to do was sell these in 200 to 300 acre lots to developers. But what happened was the developers, the credit crunch happened, and they were not able to get loans. Usually took at least a year to get all the infrastructure and everything in place. So they knew this was not going to happen. They had to come up with another plan. So they researched the situation, and they discovered that what they needed to do was create 8 to 20 acre plots of ground and actually develop their own industrial park. So they did, and it worked. Not only that, but where they had this land, their main competitor was the airport, and they leased the ground. With this company, the Imperial Land Corporation, they could sell the ground, so that gave them a real competitive edge. Now, the second example is also about a company that had to do something when things went south. This is PNC Financial Services Bank. What happened was that there was the mortgage crisis, And a lot of banks couldn't stay afloat. They went out of business because of all the subprime lending they did and the extreme kinds of financing that wasn't too bright, it turned out. Seemed good at the time, I guess, but it didn't work in the long run. PNC Bank did not do that. At the end of 2008, their stock went down, it took a big hit, and also their earnings were down. Oh, wait a minute. We have to do something. They didn't panic. They were tempted to panic, but they didn't. They said, what we're going to do is innovate. Come up with a new product, or several new products. So they came up with a new product called Virtual Wallet. They did some research and they found that there was a segment of the market for people aged 30 and under. They had good jobs. They were a good, solid customer to have. But what happened is that this group of people was used to paying through automatic bill payments, and they didn't know how to balance their checkbook, and they weren't very good at managing their money. They had a lot of penalties and fees that showed up. So this bank responded to their need and created this product that would alert them when things when their bank account was getting low, and say, okay, you need to wait a little while before you spend more money. So this was a big help to this particular market niche. It's amazing. In June 12 of 2012, PNC Bank had 1 million accounts like this. Right now, today, they're adding new accounts at the rate of 140 per day. Wow, this was a great success. And this really helped. I mean, this got them over the hump. They're one of the most successful banks around as a result of this. So the moral to all of this is that if your organization is facing a crunch because of the economy, don't let that get you down. Form an autonomous team and create a new product using a radical approach.